Health Chat is sponsored by Buell Regional Health Foundation.
Grief is a physical and an emotional reaction to any type of a loss, though we most commonly associate it with a loss through death. But other examples can include a tangible loss, such as losing a job, maybe losing a home, even losing an income that supports you. It can also include the loss of a relationship, such as a divorce or a valued friendship, or anything that you value as a part of your support network. You can also see a grief reaction with the loss of physical and emotional health as you age or as you experience health crises. So anything that would bring about a loss of your independence could also bring about a grief reaction. One of the things that we have to consider when we are thinking of why grief is so debilitating is some of the circumstances surrounding a loss. So one of those things is the relationship to that loss. Was it a spouse, maybe a child, a sibling, a parent, a valued friend? That can make our grief reactions more intense. We also have to consider how the loss occurred. And in addition to that, we have to consider the ways in which we have coped with loss in the past, our experiences with death and loss and stressful and traumatic situations. What we've experienced before is definitely going to impact how we deal with grief now. And we also have to look at how much physical and emotional energy we have at the time of the loss to be able to put towards our grief reactions. If we're not in the best physical health, if we're not in the best emotional health, we're not going to have a lot of energy in reserve, and that's going to make grief a lot more difficult to manage. Everyone that I walk with who is navigating grief asks me the question, when will this be over? How long will this last? And the hardest response I can give to that is, I don't know. Everyone's grief journey is very, very unique. And because of that, their experience can last months and sometimes even years. So it's very important for those of us who are working with a grieving person and for the grieving person themselves to be very gentle with themselves and to be incredibly patient with themselves in the process, because it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy. Their world feels shattered. Their world is at a standstill, and they're very aware that the world around them is continuing on, and it makes completing just everyday normal tasks like grocery shopping, laundry, makes it all the more harder. And so we have to really be realistic in what we expect of the grieving person. And I think one of the things that we've heard so frequently is that they're seeing a decline in their support network and the availability of the people who said they would be around to help in only a month after their loss. They don't feel like they can go to anyone any longer and be able to cry or be able to share how hard it is to get through their day. They just don't feel that that outlet is there anymore. So for those of us who are willing to be in that walk with the grieving person, we really have to be able to be prepared for the long haul, for long-term compassion and care. And I think it's important to be able to verbalize to that person that we are a willing participant in their grief. We're willing to hear their stories, we're willing to hear their struggle, and we're willing to be able to see them cry throughout this process. There is help available, and for the grieving person and their family, they can consider seeking out a counselor in their local community. Our local community organizations and churches also have virtual and in-person support groups. It's really important for people who are grieving not to struggle alone. One of the things that they can do is they can reach out either to their local counseling center or they can reach out even to their local funeral homes. Our funeral homes in the area tend to know some of the support options available in the community, both on an individual level and a support group level, that they can reach out to them and get some guidance as to where to go next. There are other people that they can walk through their grief with, and in doing so, they're going to get to a point where they can once again start to feel hope and joy in their lives.